Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Michael and today we're going to be making Moroccan spiced carrots. So this is a really nice side dish that you can have for your meals, and I'm going to start with our carrots, and I've got 6 carrots here and I weighed these just kind of so you could have an estimate of what these were. These weigh just about 13 ounces is what these are. So I've given these a good wash in the sink, and I'm just going to take the top of the greens off. I'm going to leave about 2 inches of the green on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to these other ones. All right, now that I've got the greens cut off of my carrots, I'm going to take these to the sink and give them one last wash just to make sure they're clean, and I'll be back in just a second. All right, now that I've got my carrots nice and clean, I've got a tray here that I've got lined with some parchment paper. I've got that sitting here. We're going to be baking these in the oven today on 425 for about 15 minutes or until they get tender. So for my ingredients, I've got 2 teaspoons of olive oil, and for my dry ingredients, I've got a half a teaspoon of cumin, a half a teaspoon of paprika, a quarter teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a quarter teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to give that a mix through with this wooden stick that I've got here, just to kind of incorporate all of those together. Now what we want to do now is, now that we've got our dry ingredients mixed together, is I'm just going to leave these items in this little dish that I've got here. And I've got a brush here that I've got, and I'm going to mix my dry ingredients in with my olive oil. And I'm just going to use the little brush I got here and just kind of incorporate that into it so that I get that all mixed together. Now, if you don't have one of these little brushes, you don't really have to have it. I just think it makes it a little bit easier to get everything mixed together that way. You can actually put this on a plate or some type of flat surface and then put the seasoning down and then roll the carrots in it. I think this is just a little bit easier to do it this way. All right, so now that I've got my ingredients mixed together into my olive oil, I'm going to put my carrots here on my parchment paper on my tray. And then I'm just going to take each one of them, and I'm just going to take the carrot, and then I'm just going to kind of wipe the seasoning on the outside of it with the brush. This is a lot easier to do it this way, I found, than trying to roll it on a plate. All right, I've got my last carrot done here now, and I've got a good coating of my seasonings on my carrots. As you can see here, it took every bit of that spice that I had for that. So you'll use every bit of that if you do it this way. I just find this is a lot easier. So I'm going to put these in my preheated 425-degree oven now, and like I say, these until they get tender, about 15 minutes, what my oven cooks them on. Okay. And I'll be back and we'll show you what the finished product looks like. All right, I've got my carrots in the oven now, and I did put the rack 2 notches from the bottom, so it's not completely on the bottom. And I'll test those in about 7 minutes. I'll turn them around. Make sure that if your oven cooks hotter on one side, that you turn your tray around about halfway through. That way you get an even cooking on your carrots. All right, we'll be back and we'll see what they look like. I am back, and I wanted to show you my carrots. Now I did use the same skewer that I used earlier, and I just took it and you can stick it down into the carrot and it went all the way through it. So these are done. It did take 15 minutes. So now I'm going to transfer these carrots over to this little serving plate that I've got here. These look really good, and now let's dress these up. So I'm going to set these to the side here, and I'm going to make some sauce for it. I've got 3 tablespoons of sour cream. If you want to use a light sour cream, you definitely can. And I've got 1 tablespoon of lime juice. And I'm just going to mix these 2 together. All right, now that I've got my lime juice and my sour cream together, I want this to be just a little more thinner texture to it. So I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil to it. Not going to put a lot in it, just a little bit in there, just to kind of thin it down just a little bit, because I want to be able to drizzle this over my carrots. All right, I got my sauce, the consistency I wanted. I wanted to be able to drizzle over the top of my carrots when I get ready to plate those. So that looks pretty good right there. So I'm going to set this to the side. And now I've got a little bit of fresh cilantro. I'm going to cut that up. Take some of those stems off the bottom and just want kind of rough pieces with these. And for my last ingredient, I've got some pistachios that I have here. I'm just going to use my mortar and pestle and just kind of break these up just a little bit so that I can sprinkle that over the top of my carrots. So now that I've got my pistachios, I'm going to go ahead and plate one of mine up and we'll give it a taste. I am back, and I have my carrots plated now and ready to go for dinner. As you can see here, I've got my sauce on the top, and I took those pistachios that I crunched up in my mortar pestle, and I sprinkled some of those around, and I just kind of sprinkled around a little bit of that cilantro on the top of it to add a little bit of green to it. So this is our Moroccan spiced carrots. The smell is incredible. Let's give these a taste and see how they taste. I hate to actually pick one of them up. The plates are pretty. All right, let's cut into one of these now and see what we've got. I want a little bit of that sauce on my plate there. These are incredible. All those spices are coming out through there. I can taste all of that cumin and the paprika. And I taste a little bit of that cinnamon in there and a little bit of that salt that's in there. And that sauce that's on the top of it, that lime is coming through very subtly. This is a great side dish for you. And with upcoming holidays, you might want to try this to impress your family and friends. And it's very tasty on top of that. So I hope this has inspired you to try this dish. And if you like this content, maybe you might consider giving me a thumbs up. And check out one of the other two videos over here. You might find something else you like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And try these Moroccan spiced carrots. I know you're going to love them as much as I do. I'm fixing to have me another bite of these. Those spices really enhance that flavor of that cooked carrot. So delicious.